How the Praise King Jesus, how you doing? This is Riches, and once again, I'm so happy to be talking to you. It's a blessing, pleasure, and an honor to know that you're watching. You're welcome to the Why Not Show, where we believe that if others can, you also can. I promise to bring you entrepreneurs and successful people in life, and they share their stories with us so that you can be inspired and you know that if others can, you also can. And right here, I have a beautiful lady. She's a mother, she's a therapist, she's a traveler. She's going to be telling us about herself, and then we shall be having some questions for her.
Okay.
Hello, Mommy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. My name is Sharon Marks, Mama Sharon Marks, and I live in Napa, California in the USA. And I work as a psychotherapist. I work with both little children about half the time and adults the other half. And it's a very nice balance for me to work with both kids and adults.
Okay, so what I want to ask you specifically, what inspired you to start doing therapy?
Probably it goes way back to my childhood because my father, both my parents were teachers. My brother's a teacher, but my father was always involved in helping people with problems. And I was raised that way from when I was very little. So I got involved when I was very little doing things with my dad to help people. And it's sort of a natural fit for me, my personality, and I do have the skills as well.
So, okay, in being a therapist, how many years have you been a therapist?
Ooh, boy, you're going to put me on the spot how old I am.
Okay.
No, that's fine. I'm joking. I've been a therapist for probably 34 years.
34 years. Okay, sorry.
Maybe 35.
The reason why I asked that...
No, that's okay. I was joking.
Okay. So, what are some of the very, very difficult problems you've had to solve for other people as a therapist?
Okay. So for the little kids, I've worked with kids who have been abused or neglected, kids whose parents are getting divorced, kids who have problems in school, or they have problems with their anger, or they're controlling their behavior. Sometimes they're kids who have broken the law, so I have to help them with, learning boundaries, impulse control. So it's a variety of problems with kids.
Okay. So do you have any challenge that you faced as a therapist? And when you get that challenge, you feel like, really, am I supposed to be here? Like, that's really tough situation you went through as a therapist.
There's been many tough situations, but I've never questioned
Being a therapist.
I feel like it's exactly the right thing for me to be doing. It's a perfect fit for my personality.
Okay. How do you deal with the challenges that you get along the way?
Okay. So with children, I do something called play psychotherapy. So there might be a dollhouse and dolls, and they will play out some of the problems that they're having. So you do that with children. I have something called a sand tray. It's about this big and it's filled with sand, and there's a whole bookcase with different kind of figures, and they will play out the story in the sand. So it's different with children than grown-ups because adults can talk to you, exchange words. With kids, when they're older, they can do that, but when they're little, it's through play, through the dollhouse. Like, for example, if there's parents that are fighting all the time, in the dollhouse, they might take the mom doll and the dad doll and show them fighting, or show the little girl doll hiding away because she's scared. So they play it out in their play.
Okay.
And then I take it from there.
Wow. What are some of the benefits you've gotten being a therapist?
I love, just like I love all the children here, I fall in love with those. You're not supposed to when you're a therapist, but I just can't help. I'm very, very fond of kids. I think I relate really well to them. So it's sometimes hard because with children you have to work with the teachers and both the parents and the doctors. So it's a whole bunch of people you have to work with. With adults, it's usually just one-on-one with the adult. You don't have to. They're not in school, so you don't have to talk to their teachers.
To their parents.
Yeah. So it's more time-consuming. but it's very rewarding, especially when you see some change or you see a child be able to adjust the behavior or to start accepting changes in their life, you know, and it's very important that they not blame themselves if they were abused, that it wasn't their fault. So you will help them not blame themselves, or if, when the parents get divorced, they're very sad, and sometimes they think they caused the divorce. So you have to help them with that.
Wow.
And they're not taking the blame or responsibility.
Wow. Wow. So, as a therapist, any advice to people passing through, because we are not sure what they're passing through, but they may be passing through a lot of different challenges. Any general advice to people like that?
Well, it's very individual. Everybody's different, you know. So, because I'm very experienced now with my work, I use a lot of different styles or treatment modalities. And I choose from there what I think is going to be most helpful to that person. So if the person is having a lot of anxiety, I do what's called cognitive behavioral work. Help them change their thoughts and their beliefs. Instead of always thinking that they're wrong or bad or they're terrible, you know, to say something like, okay, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it, you know, or I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to go for it, you know, so they don't help them deal with their fears. Fear is a big issue.
Okay, so let's aim at fear. Let me say someone out there has fear on something, fear to do something, fear to face something, and help them know how to deal with fear.
People will have lots of irrational fears, like they don't want to cross a bridge because they think the bridge might fall down, or they don't want to go high up because they're afraid of heights, or they don't want to do public speaking because they're afraid to speak to people. You don't have that problem. you don't have no fear about that. But
sometimes I fear. Sometimes
do you?
It really scares, like if it is a big congregation and you don't know, they're just calling you and they're like, let us have joy, children. There's the way your heart skips, but then after you gain your energy as you go along.
And it's okay if I'm a little bit scared. Or if I make a mistake, I can learn from it. Not if I make a mistake, I'm a terrible person, you know, because we all make mistakes. So to help them with their fears by giving them what we call coping thoughts. So you did it for yourself. So yeah, you're a little nervous. You take a deep breath and you say, okay, I'm nervous, but I can do it. I can do it. So you say the positive thing to yourself to fight your fear.
Wow.
But if you avoid your fear, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So some people have what's called agoraphobia. They don't want to leave their house. But if they keep staying in their house, their world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So when I'm helping somebody go to their house, help them first come to the front door. The next session, maybe come out and sit on the porch. The next session, we walked out and got the mail. Walk back. So little steps at a time. But if you always stay there, it'll get harder and harder. You've got to face your fears step at a time.
Wow.
Or, you know,
wow.
or your life becomes smaller and smaller.
Wow. So what I've learned, face your fear. Don't fear to go ahead and face your fear. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And go out there, because the more you prevent yourself from facing that challenge is the more that challenge grows. So the more you go for it, it will just go down. As she has said, the small steps.
Yes.
Little by little, you get to know that you can actually overcome whatever you're going through. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to be here. It's my pleasure to talk to the audience. Thank you for inviting me.
It is so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And next time when you come to Uganda, please pass by the Wine and Show.
I certainly will. I certainly will. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.